Hey guys, this is the Dutch Sandwich. I'm going to be comparing my authentic Rolex Submariner with a fake replica Rolex Submariner. Now first, let me just explain why I have a replica Rolex Submariner. This is the replica, the blue one. This is the real one, the black one. I've done a review on my black one. It is authentic. I've got all the paperwork in here. You can check my other review. Just got it a couple months ago. This one, the replica one, the blue one, I've had for a year or so now. And this was actually my father-in-law's before he passed away. And he was a great guy. He not trying to brag or anything, but he had the means or the financial situation where he could have afforded a Rolex. It wasn't really a priority for him, and this was just kind of a fun little thing that he got when he visited China. So he went over there for vacation and ended up bringing this back. They're really easy to find if you go over there. I'm not sure if y'all have been, but they're everywhere. You go to a mall like we have here in the United States, and you'll go into a denim shop, and they don't really even sell denim. There's jeans all over the wall. But if you ask them for jeans, they tell you to get out. And then when you stick around a little longer and you look around, you'll notice a bunch of people coming up and they're opening up drawers and they have all these watches. It's really pretty interesting. But I think he paid like maybe $90 or something like that for this, $90 US when he was in China. And so it's just, I've kept it just because he was a great guy, and it just kind of reminds me of him. And but yeah, I obviously really wanted to get the authentic one, and I just thought, since I've got both right here, why not just kind of do a quick comparison? So you can either use this to justify getting the real one, if the pros outweigh the whatevers, or you can maybe use some of these things to try to identify a fake one. So I've just written down a few things here, and obviously this is a two line sub, so the pre-chronometer certification that I have, my real one, and then this replica one that I've got is the 4-line. So after 2007, they got the official chronometer, so this is a replica of that model. So you can see right off the bat the crown guards are really different. Now I don't know for sure if the real one post 2007 would have crown guards that look identical to this replica, but you can see the difference in the crown guards pretty easily between the two. The crowns are quite different too. They they certainly don't feel the same when you unscrew them and wind them. I'll do that here in a second, one by one. The main thing that probably won't be picked up on camera is the sound when you wind it. So let's go ahead and wind the replica. See, it's kind of a high-pitched whine sound. It's not a super pleasant sound, I would say. It's kind of high-pitched. Now here's the authentic Rolex. That's just an unscrewing the threads. So now it's ready to wind. Hear that? It's a lot less whiny, a lot more substantial, kind of individual, more articulated clicks. Not to get super dweeby, but so that's a pretty easy way to tell. Another thing here on the replica, look at the date. The date is not really even magnified, even though there's a cyclops. Rolex is supposed to have a 2.5x magnification, so whatever the date size is, actually this magnification cyclops is supposed to make it 2.5 times bigger. It's definitely not 2.5 times bigger. Unfortunately, I can't compare that on my real one, because I got the no date. The next thing is the lume pip. Now, I'm not sure if this is, again, they're trying to copy the newer one, the 4-line Submariner, and I just have one where they didn't. But if you look at the color of the lume pip on my authentic black Submariner is more of a white color, whereas the color on the replica is more of a yellow color. And the replica is actually a lot newer, whereas the authentic one is old. So this watch here is 17 years old already, and it's still got a white, like a crisper white lume. Another thing that's going to be hard to pick up, but the triangle here at the top of the replica does not match up very, very well. If you can see that, it's definitely close, but it's not spot on like the authentic one is. You can see, yeah. So that's another one. I was hoping to find a big difference in the weight of these. I have a very good scale here that gets down to milligrams, and they're actually within a gram of each other. The authentic no date sub weighed 120.6 grams, and the replica sub with a date weighs 121.4 grams. So very, very close. I was hoping that the more beefy internals of the authentic would add some heft and some weight, or the links, but no, they're pretty darn close. So I don't know if that would be something that would really be a reliable way to tell them apart. Another thing it's subtle, but I just noticed, is if you look at the side of the links. The side of the links on my authentic watch on the left are brushed, whereas the links on the replica watch on the right are polished. So that's just something else to kind of keep in mind. I don't know if the newer one went to this style, but that's just what I'm seeing here, comparing this 2-line from 1999 to this 4-line replica here on the right. So that's kind of those are kind of the technical differences. Now, just overall, this watch, the replica one, I mean, if it wasn't my father-in-law's and he didn't pass away and kind of holding on to it, I'd throw it away. I mean, it's just kind of, it's crappy. I mean, it stopped working for like a week. I wound it. I, kind of twisted it around like that to try to get the rotor to charge it. It just didn't charge. I almost threw it away. And then a week later, I pulled it back out and kind of did the same protocol again, and it started working. It's weird. And I think he or my mother-in-law have had other watches from them, and they stop working. I mean, they last for maybe like a year or two, and they're done. They get humidity underneath the dial, or I don't know. Something always happens with them, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So the way I look at it is that, I mean, if you can afford to spend the initial money and get a real Submariner, I mean, I think in the long run, it'll actually be cheaper for you. I know it sounds weird, but if you end up spending $100 every year or two, and you don't have any value in this at the end of its cycle, I mean, it's just, you're going through these, you're using them till they're dead, basically. You don't have any sort of value left in it. Whereas this, I could turn around and sell this for exactly what I paid for it, minus any sort of closing costs or closing fees. And if I have this for 20 or 30 years, I mean, there's a really good chance this could appreciate. I mean, you look at the price of a mill sub, and I'm not saying this is going to be a mill sub someday, but it's certainly going to go up if I keep it long enough. And you can't say that for these. So I could definitely looked at this as more of an investment. And if you're in a situation where you can do that and spend the money, I definitely would do it. I mean, it's so much more satisfying to wear this watch than it was to wear this watch. I can't really even explain it, but I'll for sure keep this, just kind of because it was my father-in-law's. He was a great guy. So, but yeah, this is definitely close. But when you have them in your hands, you'll know the difference for sure. So that is kind of my thoughts on these two. If you have any questions about kind of telling the difference, I'll do my best to answer the questions if you put them below. I'm not an expert. I'm just a regular guy. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.